Okay, so based on this article stuff in particular, Pedro has got a new shocking girlfriend. So we're gonna see exactly what it says, and then obviously you folks can let me know what you think down below in the comments. So obviously here, as you can see, it says based on the latest updates making the rounds, it looks like Pedro has found a new girlfriend following all the years of explosive drama with Chantel. So what do we know about Pedro's new lady so far? So this is obviously what we're gonna get into, and let's get crack a lacking. So obviously here's us off with the heading: 9 Day Fiance Pedro and Chantel brought the drama for TLC for years before the drama years on TLC. Now, of course, obviously this gives us a little bit of a background on obviously the relationship between Pedro and Chantel, which is something that most of us know by now. But just to give you guys who are new viewers a little bit of a background check on it rather than reading this, let me just give you a short version. So for the people who don't know, Pedro and Chantel both appeared on 90 Day Fiance some years back, and in that very intro, Pedro came to America for the first time, but Chantel lied to her parents about what visa he was on and what their intentions were. They told the parents at the time that he was on a student visa, when in reality he was actually on a spousal visa, which of course wasn't taken lightly when the parents and the family found out, because at that moment in time, that's when they assumed that Pedro had convinced Chantel into lying about why he was really there. So therefore, from that beginning, the family always disliked him. And then obviously, as years went by, we had the conflict between Chantel's family and Pedro's family. And then a few years later on, they ended up getting divorced due to the fact that Pedro had finally ended up being checked out of the relationship. But still, this day, some people still accuse him of using her for a green card. But then some people also sit there and say, well, if she had done things differently, then maybe the relationship wouldn't have gone down the way it does, or the way it did, shall I say. But that's the little background in the basis of it. But let's get into exactly where we are now. So obviously, right now, we are in a situation where there is a question that is being asked. Pedro flaunts new girlfriend online. So what do we know so far? It says based on the latest 90-day Fiance updates from Pedro circulating online, he is flaunting his new girlfriend for the world to see. No matter how some watchers feel about Pedro, many were still curious about who he would find next. Once he and Chantel went their separate ways. Now, of course, it was rumored previously that him and Sophie were on a date together, and something was going to happen. But he seems as if after him and Sophie, and when I say Sophie, I'm talking about Sophie, who is with Rob. Once, of course, they went on a date, or at least seemed to be on a date, they both came out to squash the rumors. Just to clarify that for people who don't know. But nonetheless, though, it does say that Pedro's new lady keeps her social media private. However, Pedro decided to take her to the Dominican Republic to meet his family. So if he's doing that, this is certainly a major indication, or indicator, shall I say, that things are serious between these two. Pedro and his sister Nicole both follow her on social media as well, which usually is a massive indicator when it comes to the social media. No, when it comes to the reality TV world, anyway. Now, of course, he continues here by saying, interestingly, this new lady lists Miss Aqua International on her profile, which is a beauty competition. As this new relationship progresses, it's more likely that more information about her will come out. Now, bear in mind, his sister also was somebody that competed in a beauty competition, didn't she? Did I believe it was in 90 Day Fiance The Single Life when her mother appeared with that bold fraud? I won't say his name. But nonetheless, obviously, this is obviously the picture that's been taken and provided to us by 90 Day Fiance Update. And obviously, you can see, obviously, there's a picture of her covering her face, but somebody was able to find a picture of her without her face being covered up. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, if this woman has never seen the show itself in particular, she's going to be in for one rude awakening, because we know what people can be like. People are going to find out as much as they can. And then, of course, that stuff will then become public. But nonetheless, though, it continues here by saying 90 Day Fiance fans react to Pedro's new lady. To be fair, before I even read this part itself in particular, we do know that Chantel has documented her life. We saw her on the last season of The Single Life, where she did meet the man from Greece, but that relationship did not work out. And now we're seeing her in the new season of Hunt for Love, where currently she's struggling to find, obviously, a connection with one of the males. But Chantel did say that one of her closest friends ended up kissing her. So obviously, right now we know that Chantel's going through a process of whether or not she wants to now be with women, because when her friend kissed her after all those years, that obviously sparked a confusion in her mind about whether or not if she's now into women, purely because that kiss shocked her, and it was more the case she also liked it too. Which of course right now people are having their own comments regarding that, because some people are thinking, is Chantel using that kiss as a part of a storyline just because none of the men want her, so now she's trying to put this narrative that she is into women, but yet talking about it as if she's confused. Well, here's the thing: we do know that in real time, Chantel has shown that her and her female friend are in a relationship. They haven't confirmed it, but she's always posting pictures with her, and it looks like as if they may have a romance going on. But hey ho, we have to wait and see because obviously right now that is all up for speculation, as she obviously tells us. But nonetheless, though, it says here that 90 Day Fiance fans react to Pedro's new lady. With this recent news that Pedro is seeing someone new, many 90 Day Fiance fans chimed in with a lot of with a lot to say about it. So far, some commentators are calling out the fact that this new lady looks like Chantel. Let's just go back to the picture. We're gonna have to disagree, to be honest with you. I mean, she doesn't look mixed race to me personally. She looks like she could be of a Latin origin, if you ask me personally. But the picture is quite blurred. I mean, I can understand that she's got similarities, but yeah, I'm not. I personally don't agree with that. Personally, I think she's quite different to Chantel, to be honest with you. She looks a bit more. She looks way much more confident, to be honest with you. Do you know what I mean? When it's come to confidence, Chantel's confidence has been a bit over the years. So yeah, I don't really disagree with that. I don't really agree with that personally. But hey, you let me know your thoughts. Obviously, the picture's there. Obviously, look at it, manifest it, process it, and have your thoughts. You know what I mean? But hopefully, we can get a more clearer picture of her in the future. But then at the same time, I am currently using my laptop, so I'm not at home, and my laptop like resolution isn't exactly the best. So maybe it's just blurry on my side, and maybe it's not on yours. But I'm confident that picture isn't the best of her. But nonetheless, though, it continues here by saying a second commentator said, "I feel sorry for her already because his family belongs in a padded room." And obviously, people do believe this purely because her sister, no, sorry, Pedro's sister has always been very loud, abrasive, quite aggressive at times, and the mother hasn't been that much different, to be fair with you. But at the same time, people do forget that when it comes to Pedro's family, they were literally bounced off the same energy of Chantel's family, because Chantel's family also came with the same type of energy. But at the same time, though, we did witness times when Pedro had no fear to want to fight River. Obviously, River is the brother of Chantel. We also saw the time when he wasn't afraid to even fight the board fraud. But hey, it is what it is. I mean, to be honest with you, I would say that when we look at it on both fronts, neither family took accountability for their behavior, and neither family decided to take the peaceful way of resolving the issues. Both families were always in a position where they were more than happy to be loud, abusive with the words, and also be quite aggressive as well. So to be fair, if his family belongs in a padded room, I'd say probably so does Chantel's. But hey ho, nonetheless though. And someone else said, another person added, good luck. She must have never watched the show. And of course, I can imagine this is somebody that was not a fan of Pedro and believes that Pedro truly did use Chantel to get a green card into the USA. But listen, at the end of the day, when we go back to how that first season started, Chantel is the one that made the choice to lie to the family that Pedro was there on a student visa rather than a spousal visa. It was Pedro that kept pushing her to want to tell the truth because he did not want to start the relationship based on a lie. And how you start something will always determine how it's going to go. At the end of the day, this is obviously how it began because of Chantel at that moment in time. Obviously, everything that happened after that was obviously due to both parties having ridiculous, both parties obviously not behaving appropriately. But that just exposes obviously the lack of maturity between Chantel and Pedro, as well as the lack of maturity between their mothers, Chantel's father, and the whole shebang. You see what I'm saying? But hey ho, either way though, their relationship is coming to an end anyway, so it is what it is. But nonetheless though, what do you guys think of Pedro's new lady? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Of course, when new tea comes out, I'll be here to update you folks for sure. But hey ho, I hope that this woman that's in his life is is one that can obviously make him happy and fill in those things that he required from Chantel that Chantel was unable to fulfill in their relationship. Yeah. Anyway, with that being said, though, obviously I'll definitely see you guys for the next episode of Hunt for Love, where we see Chantel's current journey and see obviously where that goes. You know what I mean? But I am kind of waiting for the season to end because I really want to know if Chantel has taken the new route or where she's now in a relationship with her friend, because then that lets us know that Chantel is now in a position where she's open to being with women. Um, yeah. Anyway, with that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.